Alright, Matrix, a little look into the activities for bank accounts. The bank account one is really not that difficult. You just need to do some straightforward calculations here and be careful that you're reading the information clearly enough for these things. So question one, I wasn't too terribly worried about where these numbers came from. You can read it off the table and see the number of times that the service would be used and the price per use from each of the banks to work that sort of thing out. Question two is once again just reading off the graph, reading these things. Alright, remember they're looking for the best person in 2B, so you're not taking the top line, you're taking the bottom line. So whichever one of the graph lines is the lowest is the one you want to go with, because they are the cheapest person to use, or the cheapest bank. Alright, with question 3, they're looking for an interest payment. I think this is on a credit card. Alright, so we're just looking at how much the credit card would cost him after 3 months. So once again, it's one of these fairly straightforward compounding sort of situations. I have done this and divided it by 12 because it's easier than trying to round off the number that they want for the percentage. Rather just use this because it'll be a more accurate usage of your interest rate there. Because otherwise you'd land up with a very confusing number of, let's see, 0,0116666 recurring. Alright, you don't really want to be trying to type that into a calculator. You'd rather just round it off and get it done with. Okay, question 4 is not really nice, to be honest. It's a very realistic question where you're sitting with a bank account with a bank balance that is changing. Alright, you start with the initial balance, you've got your interest rate. In the textbook they went and divided the interest rate by 12 and then did some sort of skullduggery there. I wasn't really happy with how that worked. It's a lot better just to work with 365 days in a year. So what I've done is I've basically actually taken this amount, divided it by 365 and times it by 17, but it just looks better. You can always turn that into a fraction, have 17 over 365 to get your partial, because you're looking at the number of days. Leave as many decimal places as possible. I've tried to round off to how many it would be on a calculator. I think it's 10 digits on the calculator's face, so the number of decimal places will change in some of these situations, but it's not really something that can be avoided much. Alright, so you will see that we've got the initial amount, then the next line is where they took the amount out for 2 days, and then they had another deposit of 1,500 after those 2 days. Hopefully if I add up my numbers there, I'll get to the 31 days that are in July. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so using all the long numbers, we then get to our balance at the end of July. They want the balance at the end of August, so please don't round off until you get to August. Okay, so the whole long number and the whole long number, 31 days in August, so that we are getting to our 29,205 Rand. Okay, now you must be careful. Please don't round off until you get to the end of things, because otherwise you're going to land up with problems. Okay.